Play you something. This was Monday here on Hardball when this stinkeroo got started. Let's take a look at it. Congressman Gingrich, you first. Do you believe that this is a redistribution plan to basically take taxes completely off the backs of poor people by saying even if you have to pay payroll taxes, Social Security and Medicare taxes, we're going to give you an offset in terms of tax cutting, a refundable tax credit, so you never have to pay taxes again, and this is a political scam to get poor people to vote Democrat into the foreseeable future. Is this the game? Is Limbaugh right?
Chris, I don't think that Rush Limbaugh is right on that. At least I hope he's not right.
Well, he apparently went further later on and said that he didn't think that Limbaugh was right. Again, to the Politico, this is Congressman Gingrich. He said, I mean, it's easy if you're Sean Hannity or Rush Limbaugh or even sometimes Newt Gingrich to stand back and throw bricks. Well, today, Gingrich apparently decided it's time to apologize and get some forgiveness from the big guy on the radio. Here he is saying, I was wrong to go against Rush. This is a U.S. Congressman talking.
I clearly ended up putting my foot in my mouth on some of those comments, and I just wanted to tell you, Rush, and all our conservative giants who help us so much to maintain our base and grow it and get back this majority, that I regret those stupid comments.
Well, look, I appreciate that.
That groveling. Former U.S. Congressman Dick Armey, doesn't the station of U.S. Congressman require something higher than that kind of performance before the altar of the beneficence of Rush Limbaugh? What did he say? Giants like you, and excuse me for living, and I don't know what else he threw in there.
I'll tell you what happened. First of all, people need to understand Rush is Rush, and he makes his living being outrageous a big part of the time. But at the same time, he's expressing the frustrations of a lot of small government conservative grass and rank and file all over the nation, and so they relate to them. When the congressman sort of put him down, he heard from a lot of real people in Georgia about it. That he's trying to make peace with Rush in order to get real people to.
But Rush is making a real charge. I want to know if you agree with it, and I get to Joan. Rush is saying the Democrats have a political plan here. Basically get rid of all federal taxes for poor people by giving them tax credits if they don't pay income taxes, give them tax credits against their payroll taxes. So that even if they go to work and you have to pay withholding, they end up getting it all back. They never end up paying any taxes into the future. So they'll always vote Democrat, poor people, because Barack Obama got rid of taxes for them. He says that's a strategy. It's not a stimulus package. It is a brilliant game plan to buy poor people's votes. That's what Rush is saying. Do you agree with him?
No, I
you agree with him? Do you agree with Rush?
You
don't agree with him. Spend their money, not save it. I don't know what the current strategy is. But, Joan, what do you make of the politics here? This is a pretty strong charge from Rush. I think it was backed up. I guess it's in effect backed up by people like Phil Gingrich, the congressman, because he come back and groveled before the altar of Rush Limbaugh. What a sight.
You know, with all due respect.
You see he's got the power here.
Yes, he's licking his boots, let's be honest. Have you ever seen anything more pathetic than that display? And with all due respect to Dick Armey, this is not about the tax code. This is not about smart tax policy. This is not about the stimulus. This is about the politics of resentment. And this is about Rush Limbaugh playing up Democrats against Republicans. I mean, you know, we haven't talked about the most disgusting thing that Rush said, which is that we should... No, let me finish.
No, this show is Hardball. Joan, you have cued me. Here he is, the most disgusting thing you ever said.
Good, my mom will be happy I didn't say it.
No, thank you for cueing it. Here it is. There's Rush Limbaugh last week.
We are being told that we have to hope he succeeds, that we have to bend over, grab the ankles, bend over forward, backward, whichever, because his father was black, because this is the first black president.
What do we make it out of here? Do we have to bend over, grab the ankles, bend over, forward, backward, whichever, because his father was black? What is this? What is this?
Did one Republican think of apologizing to President Obama for such an obnoxious, sickening thing? I mean, come on, this is what we're talking about.
Oh, give it a rest. You know, Chris, you and I have talked about this before. We had a situation where the Bush White House reframed something that Kerry said and then feigned moral outrage. Yeah. Political discourse.
We're playing the tape.
Now, let me make my point. Political discourse is inane. Rush makes his living out of political discourse.
Right.
Now, serious people that have serious things to concern themselves with need to get about their business and not be bothered by the
And so Phil
prattle of
Gingrey,
political hacks.
Is he right? Is he right?
He should apologize. Phil Gingrey is right to apologize. Isn't he?
I
Shouldn't he
think
get
Phil
about his
Gingrey is
business?
trying to make peace with a lot of voters in his district that have a constituent following to Rush Limbaugh. You have to take the world in which you run for office as it is, and if your voters are going to side with a guy on the radio in opposition to you, you better in fact make peace with your voters.
Okay,
because
here's
in
a
the
great
end,
philosophical.
that's the votes he's
Joan,
got to
you
deal
have
with.
opened a can of worms here. Why do libertarians, and I respect a lot of libertarian philosophy, it's at least in ideal terms, the Ayn Rand stuff, I love the idea, it's romantic. If everybody could live on themselves and take care of themselves, if that could work, it doesn't, fine. But why do people who say they're individualists, cowboys, out there all alone, refer to themselves as ditto heads? Why would you take pride in being a ditto of what Rush Limbaugh says? In other words, repeating after him every word he speaks as if it's gospel. And it doesn't make any sense. How can you be both a ditto head and an individualist?
And an individualist.
It's hard for me.
It makes no sense to me.
Again, Chris, I'm not here to explain or to defend anybody's discussions in politics, because politics is, and I'm the first to say it, and I've said it for years, is juvenile delinquency. I'm saying just get beyond it and get to the serious policy issues.
What's the serious economic
There are serious tax policies that could be pursued that would encourage growth and job creation in the economy.
What would be
They're not being pursued.
What would be the classic Republican or conservative economic program to get us out of this, away from this abyss we're facing right now in the economy?
Well, obviously smart tax cuts, and after the fashion of the supply side tax cuts that work so well for 2 decades.
Like Bush gave us the last 8 years?
No, I'm not here, and I have never defended Bush's tax income redistributionist tax policy does not grow the economy.
What does Bush tax
cuts? Doesn't matter who does it.
What we got from Bush were tax cuts for the very top, the opposite of redistribution.
Very nominal growth components to the Bush tax cuts. There were some, but they were overtaken by the income redistributionists, and that was the problem with the Bush tax package.
I
said that at the time, and I argued that. But, who what?
Who were the income redistributionists?
Well, the biggest income redistributionist at that time was a Republican congresswoman, our senator. But Charlie Rangel cracked me up. Charlie said, look, you guys are giving her things I wouldn't even ask for.
Who's that you're talking about?
I'm not going to get into that, because then we're going to have the controversy where Dick Armey's assaulting somebody. Okay. The fact of the matter is that there are income redistributionists that think they're going to curry favor with voting blocs in both parties. And it's wrong policy, whether it comes from Republicans or Democrats. It makes no sense. Armey's axiom, don't let politics define your economics. Don't let politics define anything. Politics is silly. It's inane. And practitioners of politics are people to take what amusements you can from them, but don't take them seriously.
But this is serious business. This is serious business. The economy is a wreck, and it's been wrecked. It's been wrecked by the Bush White House and by Republicans in Congress with a lot of Democratic help, and now President Obama... please stop saying give it a rest. Do you have anything else to say?
Yes.
President Obama has a mandate for change. Your people have stood in his way. They're standing in his way on Capitol Hill right now. And Rush Limbaugh is making ridiculous statements, and Republicans are crawling to him and groveling.
Right.
That's the state of our economy and our world right now, Representative Armey. And it's sad.
I'm so damn glad that you can never be my wife, because I surely wouldn't have to listen to that prattle from you every day. That is what I'm talking about.
Boy, that makes two of us, sir. That was really an outstanding comment.
Look, ma'am. You can you're talking like a paid political hack here, making your political points. Are we going to talk seriously about?
No, I actually care about social justice. I care about jobs. I care about the economy.
What's the best, Joan? As you look at this package, what's the solid piece of it that's going to help the economy recover? What's the strongest piece of the economic bill that's being passed by the House tonight? What's going to work?
I think the stimulus will work, and I think it needs to be bigger. I agree with Jim Cramer. I think that the issue of giving people who pay payroll taxes but make too little to pay income taxes, I think that does stimulate the economy. It's also a matter of fairness. This is a long-time Democratic principle, Chris, to make work pay. Democrats passed welfare reform. It was very controversial with their base. It was actually a courageous and controversial thing to get people off welfare and into the workforce.
It's the earned income credit,
And it was going, yes, it was going to be backed with the earned income credit to help families, parents who make too little to pay taxes, actually pay for child care, pay for health care, pay for their children's clothes. And it is both a progressive and a pragmatic piece of policy. We're talking policy here. Thank you, Chris.
First of all, let me remind you that...
You know, I thought it was very well said, and it was not prattle.
Just correct the record on
Actually, I
one
believe
thing.
it. I think the earned income tax credit has been abused around here, but it does make sense to encourage people who are at the margins who could sit on welfare to say, no, it's better to put 40 hours of work in, even if you don't make enough money. It's still better to make an effort. Anyway, thank you, Dick Armey.
I make one point. The Republicans passed welfare reform. Clinton vetoed it twice, and then when he signed it, he said it was the best idea he ever had.
Is he your best witness?
He did it with the kind of support that it needed.
That's how desperate you are. Anyway, thank you, Dick Armey, citing Bill Clinton as his economic expert.